Eric Sheetsaber. We're going to be talking through this 5-game slate. We've got a very light day of DFS. I'm still not sure. Sheets, are you? I can record if you want to at noon Eastern. I could record a quick basketball one, but I have a doctor's appointments after that, so I don't think I'm going to have time before the 3:30 start or the 6:30 Eastern to start, I should say.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm going to have time to do it.
I'll run a solo one.
What?
I'll run a solo one if you can't do it.
Okay. I know that I'm doing the horse racing thing at 2.
Right.
And yeah, well, maybe. I mean, again, all I would be doing, honestly, is just kind of running stuff. I mean, it's a 2-game slate. I really don't have any opinions, really, on the slate, except I really hope the Knicks close this out because they really do deserve to lose. But maybe we'll maybe they get lucky. And I know that if they don't get this done in Philly, they're going to get all tight and lose a Game 7 at home.
Yeah.
So let's just see. Anyway,
we'll see.
So I was a little disappointed in you last night. Like, not disappointed. I don't know exactly what you played, but basically like all hitting busted right in the early part of the slate.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, oh my God, the Dodgers are up 5-0 after like the first inning, and I'm like, okay. I without asking Bobby how he's doing, without doing everything, I want to see how he's doing. So I forgot whether you played the 888 or the 250. I know you played the 250. You mentioned.
Yeah, but I said I was playing Texas in that.
I forgot. See, that's the thing. So I pulled up the 250. I'm like, okay, Bobby, have the Dodgers. And I'm like, oh, Texas.
Well, the thing is, I finished second in like the $20 single entry for like $500 or whatever.
Oh, really?
Okay. Or the 3 max entry. And then I also finished I think it was like 15th or 14th in the lottery with only like 15 entries.
Oh my God.
But I really could have won it. I had the most time remaining. It was weird. I couldn't have won. The guy didn't have the same lineup in the $20 that he had in the lottery. He was the only one that was a threat to me because I had all the guys left for the Dodgers. I had everybody who got there. Like I had Rojas. I had 1% ownership. I had what's his name? Chris Taylor was 5% owned, and everybody was there. Got there to some extent. So I was a little annoyed that I didn't get my other one-offs. I had Ryan Mountcastle with as a part of it. No, part of a 3-man Orioles stack with a 0. Literally like 5 points there, and at least I could have had a sweat there at the end. So I did have some good lineups. I did make money on baseball, but the Dodgers were not my main stack last night. They were my third stack, so that was my problem.
Well, one thing I will say also, and listen, this is not always the case, but the last couple of days, it's been really smashing the freaking chalk pitcher that we didn't believe. like the Gill just was freaking, you couldn't get anything off of the Gill last night.
Yeah, he was my third highest owned pitcher though. I did talk about he was the next one I would use after the other 2 guys. So I did love the Gill actually.
Well, no, I know, but I'm just saying. And then the Gill and then the Castillo the night before. I mean, the chalk pitchers have been getting there. But I'd love to know who you're playing today because this is a rough one, I think, with respect to pitching. I guess. I mean, am I sharing my screen? No. So I guess we start with a good pitcher against a bad team, right? So you have Cabrera at home against Colorado. I guess you got to start there, right? I imagine in cash he's going to be 100% owned. I don't know. I mean, what else is there? I mean, I'm looking at Eovaldi, I guess. I'm just kind of like looking through this list here. I mean, I don't feel like playing Bradish against the Yankees necessarily. Harrison, Rodon, we're going to try. I mean, we're going to push our luck going against Baltimore on the road. I guess. What do you like? I'm just inclined to almost want to take like Hauser. You know what I mean? I don't know. What do you like here?
Yeah, I think that's like viable. Like I do think it's going to be hard. Like I'm only playing a few lineups, but like Cabrera will definitely be my guy. I'm not going to play without him. I just don't really know where else I'm supposed to go. Baltimore strikeout numbers against lefties this year is actually pretty hefty. So I'll take some shots on Rodon just because, again, it's just lack of other options. Eovaldi, if I could get up to him, I think would probably make a little more sense than Rodon, but I also don't think there's a huge amount of strikeouts in that matchup. Maybe he finds the one game where there is. Maybe it is just going down to Hauser. The problem is I want to play the Cubs. So
do I.
Yeah. So there goes the issue. But and And I think it goes without saying, and I know you can 5-man stack or whatever, but you absolutely do not need to 5-man stack on these 5-man slates. You could do a lot of different things. Right now, I've got like a 4-2-1-1 as my main stack. And there's a lot. By the way, there's not a lot of pitching to like, but there is a lot of hitting to like. I think you can make a pretty good case for pretty much every team, with the exception of Colorado. So Rodon, Harrison, Hauser will be and Eovaldi. I'll be mixing with the Cabrera, but I still honestly don't know which one I'm gonna end up going with in my main buy-in. What are the sims get? Have you run some opt?
That's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do this right now. Like I did it before, but I'm gonna do it again. Okay, so let's just use. I don't want to give all the premium stuff. Well, let's just do the Sabres and projections. Okay, because I promise you these are not what I'm using. Okay, so no one will accuse me of doing whatever. So let's build 50. Well, we don't need to build 5,000 lineups. 5 games. We'll build 1,000 lineups. We'll rate the top 50, and let's do, just because Bob, you suggested this before, and since you just said that maybe we don't need full correlation, let's reduce the correlation here from 8 to 5, just for fun. Okay, we'll keep the sim diversity the way it is, and we'll still build it based on 20 max settings. No other changes. All right. So what we're going to look at a couple of different things. The first thing that we're going to look at when this gets done is just what the lineups look like, just kind of on their own. Okay. Let's see. And then we're going to apply the contest sim stuff to it and see how much, if anything, that changes it. Like, if are we gonna end up getting like 80% Colorado, like, for example? It's like we'll just see. Okay, first of all, let's see. All right, so no other adjustments. We would be getting 56% Chicago, which you were kind of liked anyway. 44% Washington, 36% Yankees. Now, what's also interesting before we get to the pitchers is I want to look at stack exposures, and wow, it is getting me like the pure stacks, which is interesting. Even though we took the correlation stuff off, so I probably wouldn't mess with this too much, if at all, from here. But let's take a look at the pitchers. Pitchers, there are 8 pitchers. And as far as ownership, not like all of the Cabrera, I'd be getting like 54% Rodon, and then kind of a mixture between Cabrera, Kyle Harrison, Ben Brown, which we didn't talk about, Eovaldi. And what's interesting again is that this is based on just Sabres and projections, just letting you know. And then also we didn't even apply the contest sim. So let's just see what happens when we do that. So under contest sim settings, and this we're looking at the walk-off home run, which is the 555, the bat flip, which is the lottery, and then the ball 4, which is the 4-entry max. Mm-hmm. So what I have set here are just basically the Sabre sim default settings. That's what we're going to do for today. It's set this high stakes 20 max pool as what it says based on its back testing Sabre sim would recommend. Okay, so unless you have a lot of experience tweaking, I do think this is where you start. Okay, so we start here, and then we'll hit this run contest sim. You see it got all lit up here, and then what it's allegedly doing. Again, I don't see what's going on in the background, so I just have to trust it. Okay, what's allegedly doing is taking your lineups that you built. Remember, I built 1,000, and it's comparing those to these 3 different fields. And then it's ranking these based on whatever you tell it to rank. So here's one thing I kind of alluded to yesterday. Here's an example. So right now you only see the home run, walk-off home run, and the ball 4. And it's just because I think it's still thinking about the other ones. Sometimes they don't all see, and now the bat flip got in there. So it lists what it has, then it adds everything. So for the lottery, there's a couple of ways that you can rank these, within the lotteries. What SaberSim recommends is the risk-adjusted ROI, But just to be a little different, let's just do regular ROI. Let's not get that fancy. So when we rate these by risk-adjusted ROI, the top 50 lineups, given the bat flips presumed layout, would be getting, let's start with the stacks first. Okay, like 60% Washington, then 35% Texas, Baltimore, and the Yankees. Not as much Cubs. So I guess what that's really saying is that the Cubs are going to be probably very popular.
They're actually not.
Oh, well, again, I'm just trying to derive based on what they're saying here. And then, popular meaning what they're presuming the field is going to do, and we can actually dive into that. I'll get to that in a second. Let's look at the walk-off home run. And the walk-off home run, you'd only play one lineup, and that would give me Cabrera, Rodon, Washington, Boston combination. That makes sense, I guess. And then the ball 4, you risk that, and then you get pretty much the same thing. So you can upload those into your entry files, using this entry editor. What I want to do is, as I said, let's look at this bat flip here. Let's just see contests. Let me just field lineups. All right, so field lineups. This is gonna, if you click on this, I think it's gonna show you what the field is gonna look like. Oh, look at this. So this is actually saying this is what these 10,000 lineups that they're presuming you're comparing to. So now we're looking at is the ownership of that field. So that's 45% Cabrera, 42% Eovaldi, and to your point, it's actually the highest represented stack is San Francisco actually. So what you can do again is you can think, okay, does that make any sense? Like, do you really think that San Francisco is going to be the highest owned stack throughout the fields? And if you don't think so, then you probably shouldn't use this flagship MME default as your field of lineups if you're going to use the Sims. Okay, and so that's, again, I'm just kind of going through different ways to kind of deal with this. So one thing you could do if you didn't like that, you could change your contest sim settings. So let's say instead of using this flagship MME, and this is kind of like a neat trick, you could use your own build. Like you built 5,000 lineups based on the projections or whatever it is, and you could use that as your field. Now, how do you determine what that's going to be? Well, what's cool about that is you can go into your build 2 here, and you can see what the distribution is. But we're not looking at exposure here. What we're going to be looking at is the column that says pool. And so pool, 46% Cabrera. This looks right as far as pitching goes. Let's look at the stacks. Stacks, as far as the pool goes, is actually mostly 33% Yankees, then Texas. That seems actually a little more reasonable to me, I think, than having San Francisco be the top owned stack. Remember, that's what the SaberSim one kind of did. So I'm going to use it. I'm going to use my own, like the build 2 as the new settings. And as a matter of fact, we'll do the same thing with the other ones. So let's redo these. And again, what you guys are witnessing is me experimenting. And this is how I try to get better, is experiment. And that's why sometimes I use the default field. Sometimes I use my own. And so today what I decided is I was actually going to check and see what the fields are and make like kind of a value judgment. So then I will then just redo these. And then I have to figure out, well, actually I did risk adjusted ROI. I don't want to do regular ROI. And then I want to go min uniques, more than one. So let's go min uniques 2. And then here's the real key, not key, but you can make the argument that if you're going to go through all that, you're probably not supposed to look and see what you have because you've already biased it enough. If you see what you have and you're like, well, I really don't feel like having that much Texas, you're probably fighting the Sims a little bit, and that's okay too. But again, these are different decisions you make. Right. Walk-off home run. And again, I'm not messing with the stacks like at all. In other words, if I get to, nothing but 3 or 4 man stacks, again, it's a small slate, so I have no problem doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Do this, and this, and this, and this, and then we'll put them in like this. Now, the only thing that I did that the reason why I'm not going to actually keep this is because, for those of you that forgot where we started by just using the Saberson projection. So I like my own better. So I'm going to do this the exact same process, probably in about 10 minutes, and do the same thing, but using my projections instead of the whatchamacallits, instead of the Saberson. And I have to do the same gut check. I have to then check the pool of lineups and see if that's what I think the field is going to do. So this is my enjoyment. this is how I have fun continuing to try to learn. I didn't really talk to any of the players or anything like that, but it is good to know that you're getting Cabrera. I have to say, like, at the end of the day.
Yeah. Yeah. So like, it's interesting because I'm just doing a small number of builds and all that stuff. So it's going to be a little different for me, but I like Texas the best if I had to just pick one. But I also think everybody's like totally in play, and I like the Cubs I think they're going to be a little bit lower owned. I also think that if you're, I actually think taking some shots against Rodon at really low ownership for, one of the best offenses in baseball is probably worth a shot. Same thing with the Yankees side. But I'm finding myself using pieces, not stacking from San Francisco, Boston, but really it's just pieces. I'm just not ending up stacking very much there. And,
what do you think of San Francisco? I mean, I showed you they are showing up a bit. I mean, do you like it?
It's a good hitting weather game, big stadium upgrade. Of course, massive platoon, like definitely huge risk for guys like Wilmer Flores to potentially get pinch hit for. And he hasn't hit a home run this season, and he always projects great. And I'll skip it. I guess he's in my cheap buy-in. No, he's not. So I like. I like guys like Chapman. I'm not stacking these guys, so it doesn't really matter. I like Connor. I like both catchers. The catchers I'm using will definitely be from that game. Wong, Connor Wong just crushes the ball, man, every single day. It's like nuts. He's hitting 370.
He hits like 6th. I mean, like,
yeah. Now today he's 5th at least, but yeah, it's like nice to. I mean, he's a crusher. He's crushing the ball this year. So. Jorge Soler as a one-off. I mean, I am a little bit up more on the chalky side than I want to be with my stack, and I actually feel like it's a slate where you can get off the board. But I feel like I'm building a 4-2-1-1 is a little bit different, but still, Texas and then the Boston game with some Mets is sort of going to be the outlook, or Chicago where I'm not playing Hauser. And yeah, this does look a little bit too chalky. I think I might have to do something about that.
Well, the other thing I wanted to share with you guys, I posted it in the Discord, but I posted the golf ownership run and compared it to what I was projecting, and I rated them by the biggest misses that I had. And the other thing that I put up there, which I do want to keep some track of, are the big differences between the sand trap, which is the lottery, and the signature hole, which is the big buy-in. And one thing that's good is that we did talk about it, and I did identify like 2 guys that I knew were going to be much higher owned in the big buy-ins than the sand trap, and I'm going to share these here. And that was Davis Thompson. Like, he was like the kind of like the hipster model play. He was 13% in the sand trap and 22 in the signature hole. And then the other guy I mentioned, the Adam Shank, was 15% in the sand trap and 22%. Nobody went for the Hoagie though. Hoagie they really pounded in the sand trap. They didn't really get there in the signature hole too much. And Benny On had 6% more. And they were sharp, man. The big names, the Jason Day and the Jordan Spieth, like you kind of suggested, like in the lottery, they are playing the names. You know what I mean? Like they like Day's 10% in the sand trap, only 4% in the 555, and Spieth is 15 in the sand trap and 10 in the 555. So I found that interesting.
Yeah, no, it is. It definitely it's funny how they build differently, but yeah, I appreciate those. I like that. I liked checking that out. Yeah, other ones. Mark Hubbard was much more popular, right?
Yeah.
Than we thought.
Yeah, those are my misses, you know, and it was Hubbard. I mean, I put it in the Discord. I should have. I don't want to say I should have known, but maybe I should have. I shouldn't say that. I mean, Hubbard is not really like the guy that people usually pound like that. But I think I should have known that Hoagie was going to be higher. But anyway, we'll see what ends up happening. I'm sure the winner is going to be like 37 under or something like that. Yeah. Where did I miss the most? Yeah, Hubbard, Hoagie, Benyon, and everybody else was within 5% pretty much. So not too bad.
Nice.
I was surprised by the way that Gim was not higher owned. By the way, I thought that he was going to end up being 15. He was at 9-10. You know, so that's interesting.
Yeah. Gim. Yeah, that was I thought I was surprised on that. Was my biggest surprise. Sorry, I'm just fiddling around. And by the way, and Power's pointing out in chat, it is 92 degrees in Baltimore with a little bit of wind blowing out. We say the hitting weather is phenomenal. It actually is great hitting weather because it's 92 degrees. It's not necessarily like the dew point and the humidity and some of the other stuff people look at. It's not necessarily like this out of this world. It's good. Don't get me wrong. It's good hitting weather. I just didn't want to oversell it. But I think that's what I'm going to do is get onto more Baltimore to go with my Texas just to get a little bit more off the chalk because I don't think you need to play the mega chalk here today. So I kind of like what I've got with Baltimore and Texas. And then I'm going to probably end up using Hauser and Cabrera in my big one.
Hard to dispute.
Even though I mean, the Hauser thing, it just feels so stupid. But this Cubs lineup is weaker today. Like there's no Dansby Swanson. Obviously there's no Bellinger. So, and they've been struggling. So I'm okay. And Patrick Wisdom's in there, which is possibly a couple strikeouts. It is not the A+ Cubs lineup. There's no, I mean, it's just, you look at the bottom of it, it's Pete Crow, Armstrong, Gomes, Madrigal. Nobody who you're afraid of at all at the bottom of the order. I swear every time these tournaments start, I don't know where they end with golf, but I always look up and I swear Matt Wallace has the lead sometime on day one every single time. It's just like every time. All right. So what else do we have? Like I'm looking through it. I'm pretty settled here. Ezekiel Duran, by the way, is in the lineup today for Texas, and I don't think he was being projected by some people. I kind of thought he would be, but he's 2,700. You know, a pivot off of maybe, I don't even know how chalky he's going to be, but I do think people are going to play some Dahlbeck. I wonder if anybody in the last year has made it. No, they're actually not playing much of him. He just hasn't. The guy just hasn't been able to hit. Now that I say that, I know he's going to hit like 2 home runs. But it is weird. Like this Boston lineup, if you were just like putting this at a random stadium, man, Tyler O'Neill's a good hitter. Rafael Devers a good hitter. Jarren Duran has been good this year. And then Connor Wong. Everybody else is just like filler pieces. It's like weird. Yeah. Anyway. So yeah, that's my thing is the Texas, the Cubs, and the what's it called is my favorite, Baltimore. But the problem is my other pitcher that I'm using is unfortunately Hauser because I wanted to get in the expensive bats from Texas. And I don't feel great about everybody else. The natural thing, if you're playing cash, I think you play Evaldi and Cabrera, or Rodon and Cabrera. But I think otherwise you can definitely like mix it around. I'm not going to play Ben Brown because who knows if it's the time we let him throw 40 pitches or 50 pitches or if they let him throw 90. I'm not going to play, but a low-owned option. This Mitchell Parker seems to have some decent stuff, but I'm going to just side with Texas here. Yeah, it's hard to get different at pitching. Hauser is actually probably the most different you can get, and even that I don't think is going to be that different. All right. So, any other questions, thoughts, guys? You know what? Maybe I'll do an NBA one quick next. I think I have time before my doctor, but I was gonna say I could probably just jump into it right now.
I mean, you could jump into it. I just don't have any. I have no idea.
No, it's fine. I'll wait.
Is Giannis back?
No,
No.
not. I mean, he's doubtful.
And what about Lillard?
That sucks. He played Sungjae Power. Yeah, I'm sorry. Sungjae withdrew, and that's so unfortunate.
Did he really?
Yeah, I had 0 of them, so I'm happy about that. But that's
I'm afraid to look.
Yeah.
I definitely got some. Let's see. Wow, when did he? It wasn't before lock, right?
No, I think everybody keeps saying it was after, so I don't know. Something you're right.
Oh, not bad. I had 10% of it. Okay.
Yeah. So you're below the field at least.
That's kind of annoying. His reason was not disclosed. Great. All right, I'm going to get going. For those of you who are interested, at 2 o'clock, I'm going to be doing a Churchill Downs preview. It includes both the Oaks Day and the Derby Day, including the Kentucky Derby. And feel free to bring questions. I don't know how in depth I can answer them, but I figured I'll do it live. Why not? That'll be at 2 o'clock. And otherwise, I'm not going to be around for live NBA. First of all, just keep in mind
doing live NBA.
Yeah, just keep in mind it starts at 6:30. I could do it, maybe. I could, maybe. We'll see. Anyway, actually, I can't. All right. So listen. Good luck, everybody, and I'll catch up to you guys later.